On Sunday morning, 28 June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand awoke in the Hotel Bosnia with a sense of relief that he would soon depart. His suite, located in the spa town of Ilica, 10 kilometers, about 6 miles west of Sarajevo, had a certain garish charm, adorned with Persian carpets, arabesque lamp figurines, and Turkish scimitars. But 3 days of Oriental Muslim kitsch had been plenty for this proper Catholic Archduke. After arriving Thursday afternoon, the heir to the Habsburg throne had attended 2 full days of Austrian military maneuvers. On Friday evening, Ferdinand had accompanied his wife, Sophie, on what was intended to be an informal shopping expedition in the bazaars of Sarajevo. The Muslim mayor, Fahim Effendi, had instructed his multi-faith constituents to show these illustrious guests their best Slavic hospitality, and they did not disappoint, mobbing Ferdinand and Sophie everywhere they went. The Archduke had then repaid this cumbersome hospitality by hosting the mayor, along with Bosnian officials and religious leaders, Catholic, Orthodox, and Muslim, at his Ilica hotel for a sumptuous banquet on Saturday night. The menu was mostly French, but in a nod to the locals, the aperitifs included Zilavka, a white wine from the Mostar region in Herzegovina. "Thank God," Ferdinand was heard to remark as his guests at last began returning to Sarajevo. "This Bosnian trip is over." Franz Conrad von Hotzendorf, who, as chief of the general staff, had presided over the military exercises, slipped off quietly at 9 p.m., following the last toasts. Ferdinand would have liked to leave with Conrad, and nearly did, only to be warned by advisers that breaking off the Sunday program would damage Austrian prestige in Bosnia. Still, it would all be over in several hours. All that remained on the Sunday program was a town hall photo op, a brief museum visit, and lunch at Konak, the governor's mansion. After dressing and attending an early mass in a room specially converted to a chapel in the hotel, Ferdinand dashed off a telegram to his children, telling them that Papi and Mommy could not wait to see them on Tuesday. That final day of the visit, 28 June, was an anniversary of painful significance for the archducal couple. On this date in 1900, the heir to the Austrian throne had been forced by his uncle, Emperor Franz Joseph I, to sign an oath of renunciation, stipulating that any children issuing from his morganatic marriage to Sophie be excluded from the imperial succession. Although hardly a commoner, Sophie Chotek came from a Czech noble family far too obscure and impoverished for the Grand Habsburgs. Adding to the scandalous impropriety of the match, Sophie had been lady-in-waiting to the Habsburg Archduchess, Marie Christine, whom Ferdinand had been expected to marry. One day, the story went, Franz Ferdinand changed his clothes to play tennis, leaving his locket behind in the dressing room. The mother of the presumed heiress opened the locket, expecting to find a picture of her daughter, only to see instead the likeness of her lady-in-waiting. Rather than renounce his passion in the name of family dignity, Ferdinand had married his secret love. Most of the Habsburgs had never forgiven him this humiliation, nor was Sophie allowed to forget it. Although she was created Duchess of Hohenberg, Ferdinand's wife was subjected to endless humiliations at imperial banquets, where she was forced to enter each room last, after much younger, unmarried archduchesses, alone and without escort, being then seated at the foot of the table, nowhere near her husband. Even at that Saturday dinner banquet in Ilica, far from the court in Vienna, Sophie had been forced to sit between 2 archbishops and to endure her husband's painfully wifeless toast. Franz Ferdinand was not allowed to mention her in public on official occasions. A legend claims that Ferdinand's entire Bosnian trip was conceived as a sop to Sophie, who did not often get to enjoy the elaborate ceremonies most Habsburg duchesses expected as a matter of course. In fact, the visit was eminently political, which is why he was so keen to get it over with.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.